I've been stabbed twice. I've been shot. Why am I not dead?
What's up, you guys? I am here in Florida with Larry Lawton, the GOAT, America's biggest jewel thief, and we're just going to give you guys an exclusive interview of his story from start to now. We're gonna dive into all of it. I'm gonna leave all of Larry's links in the description box of the video, as well as his book and all of his badass merch. You fucking need it. I have all the t-shirts. You need all of them. What's up, Larry?
Hello, Jessica. Glad to be here with you.
Finally, we've done videos in the past, but we've never met in person.
We have, and you come to Florida, and I live in Florida. Sorry about my voice. It's just been running around. And you came to Florida. I had to come across the state to see you, and we can do interviews. And I love your channel. Keep up the great work.
You know, you've been, like, we're gonna get into your story, but I just have to say this to the world. You've been so supportive of me from day one. As soon as you saw my channel, you've just been so kind and so helpful. And that's rare in YouTube. Some people are cutthroat, so I appreciate you.
There's enough room for everybody, and you got a great channel, you got a great story. You're a success, no matter what you do on YouTube. Overcome a lot of stuff, and we got to help people like that, period, and forget YouTube in life. So I love that.
My kind of people. So tell me about your neighborhood growing up.
You know, we didn't have money. It was in the Bronx, in New York. It was hardworking people and gangsters, literal mobsters, mafia guys. Now this isn't. I'm the age myself. I was born in '61, so in the '60s, you know, there's a whole the '70s is mob power. I mean, that's when everybody was in the biggest of their mob life, you know. Well, I guess from the '50s to the '80s, until Gotti got killed in '86. And so in the '70s, we used to like look up to the mobsters, and that's just what you did. You didn't want to be poor. And my dad was a hard-working construction guy. My mom was a nurse. They're trying to raise 5 kids in tough times. You know, dad gets laid off. We have no money. So my neighborhood was haves, I guess, and have-nots to a degree. But it was, I guess, lower to middle-income people.
Yep.
And the mobsters all had the money, the big Cadillacs and all that. So it is a cliche about that, but I just wasn't the Cadillac, it wasn't this. I like the hustle. I love the hustle, you know, and I kind of try to teach that to kids today. Be a hustler. You're a hustler, Jessica. You work hard. That's a hustler. You don't quit. You do things. You learn things because you have to, and that I respect a lot.
So how did you start working with the mob? Did you just walk into a shop one day and say, give me a job, or how did that go down?
No, I was 12 years old. I was doing football tickets. Football tickets is where you pick 3 teams, you put $1 on it, you get $5. Or if you put $5 on it, you'd get $15, depending on the increment. Well, there was a bookie in the neighborhood, and I was what they call a runner. So I would take the tickets and I'd go to all the houses, the teacher, the insurance guy, the telephone guy, and they would bet with me. In 1973, 72, 73, I was making $125 a week. A lot of money.
What is that now?
You know,
with inflation, what do we think?
I'm guessing $350, $400.
It's good money.
Oh, absolutely. I'm a little kid. And it was just the hustle. And I wanted people to win. Because if they win, they would tip me. And I'm not paying them. I got 25 cents a dollar. So no matter what, win or lose, if I took in $500, which was about what I used to do, I got $125 off the top. Now, if somebody win, they'll tip you. So I hope people would win.
That's awesome.
It's crazy now, I think back.
Well, a 12-year-old kid doing that, like, to you at the time, it was normal because of what you were doing?
It was totally normal in my neighborhood. I mean, everybody. We used to rob stores and little stores and all the scams you could think of back in the day when we had them. Gamble. Back drugs wasn't a big thing, but they had them. Yeah. They were a little older from the this is 70s. Back in the 60s from Vietnam, a lot of drugs came back. I've dabbled in drugs my whole life, but nothing major as a kid. When I got older, I partied more, but I always controlled it. And I always say, you control it. Don't let it control you. No matter what that is in life, actually. Could be gambling, could be food, could be sex, could be anything. You control it. Don't let it control you.
So eventually, you meet some mobsters.
No, they were actual mobsters there. I mean, they're running the place. So what would happen, they would come, give you the tickets, pick them up on a Friday, and you'd watch the game, then you have to pay out, and it's a cycle. Only during football season, though. So you figured out other things to do. Now at that time, I started robbing. Now I'm doing this for years. And at 15 or so, I started robbing cars. And we were getting money, taking them to a chop shop and getting $500. Think of that back then. 76 maybe, getting $500 a car. Just kids, and we had scams how to do that. We didn't have to break in and break the locks as though you wait for a person to start their car. In New York, it's cold. You know that. And they let it get warmed up. Well, we would see that car, the exhaust coming out, Jess, and sure enough, well, let's hit that car. And we would, and then take it, and if he keys it, a guy come out after he gets his coffee, car's gone. By that time, it's gone.
Yeah.
So then I went into service at a young age. I went at 17 years old. I was in the Coast Guard. I'm a retired veteran. I got out of the service right back into the crime.
So did you sign up for the Coast Guard kind of as a way, like, getting out of control? Maybe I need
had to get away. You know, I was always robbing cars and stuff. I get in trouble. You either go to service or you go to jail. That's the way it was back in 1979. 78 actually, but I went in 79.
So you served Coast Guard time.
8 years.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
So you were on the straight and narrow for 8 years.
Well, I wouldn't even call it that, because when I was in there, I still had that New York blood. I was, at one point, I had 60 guys working for me. And what do? I run the acquisitions and stuff, meaning you go to the Navy big stores they have within the military, and I have to buy paint and rope and anything you call it. And I would get it and send it to Brooklyn, New York, and it was crazy.
So you're getting it for cheaper there, and then
No, I didn't even buy it. I stole it.
Oh, you were stealing it. Okay.
And then I'd send it back home, and they'd get money for it.
Oh my God, it's funny. Like, you tried to, like, go a different way, but it's in your blood.
It really, at that time, I think about that. You're always thinking about ways to make money.
Yeah.
But I never considered that a bad thing. Even today. I think there's important you do that, because it keeps you fresh. It keeps you thinking about a lot of things. And what's important in life is to have a purpose. And I don't mean crime as a purpose for the audience, but have something that keeps you sharp. Because if you get bored, life becomes boring. Before you know it, you get bad habits, and you know about those.
Oh, for sure. So you get out of the Coast Guard, and you start robbing jewelry stores.
No.
There was a break in between?
No. I get out of the service. Even before I'm out, I got hurt in the service, so I was getting processed to get out, and I was in New York. So I'm actually working at a bar, taking action, bookmaking. And then, I was a pretty tough kid. I started fighting, and I laugh about the UFC. We were doing the UFC before Dana White took over. I was getting $500 a fight. But what we did is, after that, is we take bookmaking, and then I was bartending, and then I was muscling a card game.
Damn.
And after that, I got my first robbery was a setup. Yep, was set up. They told me, hey, listen, this guy wants an insurance job. I was in Florida at the time, because I had to go down to Florida for other reasons. And I go down there, and I get called back. He said, we got a robbery for you. It's a setup. You're going to make good money. I made $150,000. I said, wow. I like this. From there, I start taking it on my own and becoming the biggest jewel robber in the United States to this day.
I mean, it's not very often you can make $150,000 in a day.
Yeah, well, you know, I made a lot more than that, obviously, learning the game. But I'll never say easy, because nothing is easy in life. Anybody thinks it is. The only thing easy is if you hit the lottery. That's it. And trust me, it's not easy.
It's just fast.
Right. You know, no matter, even the profession I was in, the criminal profession, you're robbing, you're planning, you're coordinating. It's work. And you have to have that work ethic.
I don't think most people would see a thief and think work ethic, right? But like there is a lot of planning that has to go in so you don't get caught. So did you ever at any point think that you were going to get caught, or did you think that you were so good at it and so meticulous and careful that you weren't going to get caught?
I always knew I'd get caught. I never thought I'd live to 50. I'm in a rough game, you know, a lot of criminals, you know, shootings and whatever. I never thought I'd live to 50. Always knew I'd get caught. You know, the FBI asked me, you were the best there ever was. You were worth millions and millions of dollars. Why didn't you quit? The power, the adrenaline, the rush is better than any drug I've ever done.
Yeah.
And I often thought about that when I got out. I don't want to get back into that game. And I would never. Because you start getting older, you realize how bad it was, what's wrong, and all that kind of stuff. So, I was strong enough again. You control it, don't let it control you. And that goes for anything. Then I realized the errors of my ways. I mean, it's not right to rob people.
Yeah.
You know that. I mean, you think back, but you can't live in that guilt area either.
Right.
Otherwise, you know, your life's just over. And I won't let that happen either.
You said something a second ago that you said, I didn't think I'd live to see 50. And I don't think like regular citizens understand that when we're in the criminal life, we accept an early death. We know that it's going to happen. We accept that we're not going to live. We accept prison and whatever comes our way. And the ends justify the means. We're like, well, I'm here for now, right? And we're okay with it. If I said that to like my parents, they'd be like, what the fuck do you mean you're okay with all of these things? It just becomes our normal, and you think, you kind of meditate on it almost. Like, this is the reality, this is what's gonna happen.
You know, I never in my life, even to this day, have ever worried about death. It's something you can't stop. Yes, you can be stupid and walk across the highway and get killed. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, like you said, you have this, and it's rare. That's why, thank God, a lot of people aren't criminals. You and I have that don't give a fuck attitude at points. And that's good, and it's bad.
If harnessed the right way,
Absolutely.
It can be great.
Right. And you've done it, and I've done it, and that's why I love what you do in your channel, because you're showing people, yes, you were a fuck up, but look what you can do now. You give a good message, and that's why I love helping you, because I feel the same way. I like to give a good message of, listen, you can still have fun, do things, laugh. I love some of your TikToks. I watch your TikToks and Instagram, and my son will say something about your stuff, and I'm not really a big kind of guy that does a lot of that, although I'm on it.
Oh, he's doing TikToks today.
Oh, we're gonna do some. But, you know, your message is right. You know, you make a good point. Now, I'm gonna bring this up. You go from a millionaire to nothing. When you go to jail, prison, and you are on top of the world. The federal government took probably $3 million from me, but it wasn't mine. You have to have that attitude, you know. And to the one thing I think prison taught me more than anything, I don't need opulence. I could live in a box and be happy.
You did.
I live to this day. I take care of my mom. I think you know that. I live in my mom's 1,600 square foot house. I put my office in there, and I take care of my mom. I don't need a mansion. I don't even want one. I lived in a, 10 by 12, 10 by 10 or 10 by 8 cell.
Prison gives you a whole new perspective. When you can't control the temperature of your house and you can't go to the refrigerator, you can't control the lights, everything's stripped from you. You have some books and some fucking letters and a little bit of ramen. It changes everything. When you're a millionaire and you have everything that you want, married multiple times, beautiful women, doing whatever you want, partying like crazy.
Orgies. I was a wild man.
Yeah, you have everything that you want, and you lost it all in a day. How did that feel, and what was your arrest like?
You know, I was arrested with the helicopters over the house, a helicopter, guys go through the back, the whole ninja outfits and all that. When I got arrested, believe it or not, it was like, hey, a cloud was lifted off of me.
I relate to that so much.
I always knew I'd get arrested or killed, and I wasn't in shock. Yes, money eventually would hurt and stuff of that nature, but because you can't live the lifestyle you lived. Obviously, I had a limousine, I had a boat, I had multiple homes, 3 different women. I mean, I lived a crazy life. Now, I'm so happy, and it doesn't take money to be happy. It really doesn't. I know it's hard to tell somebody that who doesn't have money. I love coming to a place we're at now. This does not cost money. For doing an interview in St. Petersburg near the Skyway Bridge, it's gorgeous.
It's a rest area, and it's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen.
We are at a rest area, and that's what I love. And I come here often. I mean, when I'm in this area, I'll stop here, and it's just so relaxing. It don't cost anything. Do a video, do something, have fun, see people. We both like people, talk to a lot of people. I go to the memorials, and I was part of those memorials because in the Coast Guard, I actually was the one on the boats with those. So at this point, I mean, I think it takes less to have fun when you had it already, from a limousine and drivers and bodyguards and drugs and women and houses and boats. It takes a lot. You know, there's an old saying, the more you make, the more you spend.
It's fucking true. If you could tell your younger self anything, what would it be?
You know, a lot of people ask that and say, of course, everybody would do things different. But I have no regrets, I often talk about. I would tell myself is just to think a little bit longer term, and it's very hard. Don't live in the moment instead of... Now I live in the moment at my age, for sure. But when I was younger, with the intelligence, with the education, you could go far without being a criminal. And you know, the one thing I do like about working with ex-cons and drug dealers and stuff, most of them are very highly intelligent. You got people who make mistakes, couldn't control it, as you know, and that pushes the bad way. But very smart to run a drug business, very smart to understand the law and how it works and how it's going to affect you, everything you do, in an illegal way. So I think the best thing I'd have to say to my own self would be to think just a little longer. And I don't mean you don't got to look, oh, what am I going to be when I'm 80? Fuck that, because I'll be dead. I'm not going to live to 80, and I'm 60, and I'm okay with that. I really am.
I'm not okay.
It's happening to all of us, but death's the one thing you can't stop. A lot of things you can't stop. You know what I mean? You really have no control. You can do as much as you can. You can eat healthy, be great, and die of lung cancer. I have a sister who died at 49 years old, and I had another sister who died at 56. There were 5 of us, there's 3 of us. They did nothing wrong. Lived right lives, healthy, all this. When your time is up, I'm a believer. I've been stabbed twice. I've been shot. Why am I not dead?
So I'm going to have you back for part 2 because you're going to tell us about getting shot and stabbed, and I also want my audience to know what you went through at USP Atlanta, which is the craziest story, and I've never heard it all the way through because every time you go to tell it, I turn off the video.
If you're talking
too
about
much.
the one where I was strapped down naked and peed on, that was in Edgefield.
Oh, okay.
Although Atlanta was a zoo as well.
Yeah.
The system is terrible, and that I often give that people know. People would say, "Oh, I'd rather be in the state than the Fed." They have no clue, because in the federal system, the penitentiaries are the worst in the world. You can even Google it. The worst prison in the United States is a federal penitentiary. It's called-
People think federal prison is like blue collar guys, like nerdy, like Wall Street guys that stole money. It's a violent place.
Very. In fact, yes, they have they call them camps and stuff. Now that's low level offenders. But as far as violent offenders, when you go to a penitentiary, what do you have? You have hitmen, mob bosses, drug kingpins, armed car robbers. You don't have petty thieves. They don't have the little criminals that are crackhead and just rob something.
Yeah.
You got somebody who's organized and ready to kill people for it. So now you're dealing with these guys every day.
And living with them every day. So that's where we're going to end this video. So make sure to watch out for part 2, because he has a lot of violence that he's going to share with us, and I'm going to pull it all out of him. All right, I'm going to end today's video here. As always, I love you guys. Stay safe, stay in recovery, whatever that looks like to you. Go subscribe to Larry Lawton. He is the GOAT on YouTube, and I'll see you guys in my next one.
Thanks for having me, Jess. Always glad talking to you. I love talking to you too.
Well, fuck. I don't know.
When you get this, you got to cut from the table. Don't get my fat.
Well, really?
I don't care what you do.
If I cut your fat, I'll cut my tattoos.
No. Leave the tattoos.
Just kidding. What is that? What is that? Is that a fish?
The whole fish scene.
Like, oh, I see the shark now.
Shark,
Okay.
piranha, saltwater, sunfish.
My kids would love to color that. They color my sleeve all the time.